I will be brief, and I'll explain why, but not least because they told me to speak for 3 minutes, to which I replied, I'm sorry, am I to attempt to surmise the life, entity, and canon of work of Sally Field in 180 of your American seconds? Because I think I'd rather give a speech about the Earth's relation to the moon and sun, as that would be easier. However, I do think I have 2 advantages to this slightly daunting task in my favor, 2.5 possibly. The first, and obviously most obvious, is that now she has an almost embarrassingly accomplished and diverse body of work that is so well known to all of us. It certainly doesn't take the likes of me to become a monotone audio IMDb page and recite her resume, nor does it need me to give voice to the amount of awards that we all know she's won. In fact, the only thing to do now is recommend a good carpenter to help the groaning shelves in her study. However, the half point I would like to comment upon is something, my hope that there is an awareness in this room, or if not, something that will become more aware of the tireless and unrelenting amount of work she does for so many charitable organizations, both vocal and silent. Yes, I hope that's something that will become to the forefront. I am aware my role here in this moment is to shed a more personal light on Sally, as I did have the privilege, and it was a true privilege, and I will be unapologetic in my superlatives, as for this rare occasion they're not only sincere but actually true. I did have the great privilege of working with her for 5 years, and in that time a greater work ethic I am truly yet to see, and a more passionate, voracious voice for the arts I'm certainly yet to hear, and a more fervent campaigner for the unjust, the unheard, the politic, and especially the female voice I am yet to encounter. A tenacity to be the best she can possibly be, and very unselfishly those around her in every scene, at every given moment, with every piece of material, is something I learned very early on, to my detriment, I suppose. In the beginning of this first season, myself and another actor who was equally as unprofessional as myself began laughing during a scene at the expense of the cast and crew, and after a time, Sally, of course. And she turned to me and very kindly said, in her own inimitable way, which at that very moment was equal part menace and love, and said, "If you don't stop laughing, I will break your head open with a spoon." Which is a piece of advice I've carried into my career. I did say at the beginning of the speech that I would be brief, and it is for this reason. It's not for the obvious time constraint, but because to give justice to Sally Field, you would need 3 hours, I think, and certainly not 3 minutes. And therefore, if I am, in some crass or perverse way, to try and surmise very generally who I know her to be, it is someone I've never truly met who has the tenacious passion and unrelenting commitment to all that she does at every given moment, coupled with this enormous talent, which we all know, that makes her a true recipient of a medal, and this is what I'd like to quote, a medal that is for the understanding of the unique needs of the entertainment industry. And if that isn't Sally Field, then I don't know who it is. It is my great honor and pleasure to give this award to the iridescent Sally Field.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, for goodness sakes, thank you so much. Oh, take that picture of me. Is that what I look like? Oh, dear God. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Matthew, you got very, very English all of a sudden. I mean, you know, that just comes and goes now so quickly. You could be anything. Just be Southern for a second. He's like, that's my boy, Matthew. You know, till like only yesterday, he was still calling me Mummy every time he saw me. It was like, come on, isn't it time to stop? He's got a little child of his own now, his wonderful family. Okay, anyway, here we are. Thank you. This is such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful organization. I'm so proud to be honored by you. In the fall of 1964, I was hired to do my first professional acting job. I was 17 years old and fresh out of high school. I didn't have an agent, wasn't a member of the Screen Actors Guild, but I was, all of a sudden, the star of a television series. Right before the camera started rolling on the first day, the very first day, the first shot of my very first scene, the producer of this series leaned down and looked me in the face and said very seriously, "Sally, you know, you can't change your mind." And I thought, I can't, what? I didn't know what that meant. You can't change your mind? I didn't back into becoming an actor. I was born one. I grew up in a working class show business family, the kind of families that you support. My stepfather was a stuntman / actor. My mother was an actress. It was not a life filled with glamour or prestige or security. One week, one or both of them would be working and then perhaps not working again for months and months and months and months. I never expected my life to be any different, and sometimes it hasn't been, and then sometimes it has. I discovered the stage when I was in the 7th grade. After that, I never left the drama department, back when schools actually had drama departments. Which is just a sin that we're eliminating and sometimes already have eliminated. I don't know where I would be without it. I found that on stage, I could be more freely me than anywhere else. When I got off the stage, I felt shy and careful and hidden. I would think and rethink everything that went on in my head before I would say or do anything. On stage, I didn't know what I was going to say or do. I would surprise myself. I was just simply more spontaneously alive. I was never looking for the applause or attention, even though that's nice sometimes. And it has never been about a need to hide myself behind characters of other people. Acting for me has always been about finding those precious moments when I feel utterly, totally, sometimes dangerously alive. So my task has always been to find a way to get to that. And that has not always been easy. But easy is very overrated. I've done a scene in a suit of armor and dressed as a bear. I've done a love scene with pelican, with more than one pelican. Yes, it's true. A group love scene with more than one pelican. I swear, it's true. But I've also done a love scene with Paul Newman. And I've had Kirk Douglas read The Little Prince to me as we walked a mile back to base camp. I've flown on wires and surfed in the ocean, rode on horses, in covered wagons and fast cars. I've worked in mills, picked cotton, and done stand-up. I've been weighed down with 50 pounds of period dress. I've been fully clothed, semi-clothed, and totally naked. For 53 years, I've ridden the highs and tried to learn from the lows of this down the rabbit hole world of acting. And even now, as I stand on that huge, empty stage at the Belasco Theater 8 times a week, hoping to fit into the well-worn shoes of Amanda Wingfield, it has never, ever occurred to me to change my mind. Thank you for this. And more than anything, growing up in a working class acting family, I know how important it is what you're doing. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being there and for growing this. All the things that you're doing, especially right now in this world where the support for people is being systematically taken away and more. Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you for this moment. And thank you, Matthew. My Matthew. Thank you, Matthew, for coming out for this. Thank you.